It is time, guys. This is not a drill. I was literally just recording the update for the dev update, whatever. Dead by Daylight have just posted something that pretty much is confirming everything that we kind of knew. Here it is. Let's go ahead and watch this video. All right. Dungeons and Dragons. So there you go. Well, there you go, everybody. Dungeons and Dragons is pretty much confirmed to be the next chapter to come into Dead by Daylight. This is pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. We had, and I guess the cat is out the bag. I've kind of avoided speaking about this a little bit just because I don't like talking about leaks that much. But essentially, there was a commenter in Smuckle's YouTube channel essentially saying and claiming what the next chapters were going to be. And they spoke about what the unknown was going to be. They spoke about what Alan Wake was going to be. And then they spoke about this chapter and the next chapter. They even got the survivor from the last chapter correct, saying that it was going to be like an emo girl, essentially. And what they said was that the next chapter was going to be Dungeons and Dragons. Now, they also said something else. So if you don't want to know what it is, click off the video right now. Okay, so spoilers ahead. If you want to watch until May 14th and watch the live stream to know what exactly this chapter is going to be, click it off right now. Okay, you've been warned. So essentially what this commenter said was that we are going to see Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons, not Vecna from Stranger Things, but Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons. Now, at first, when everybody read this, they're like, yeah, whatever, okay. And then eventually there was a game that was coming out that featured Vecna and Dungeons and Dragons, and people were like, oh my god, this is all kind of lining up perfectly with what this commenter was saying. And sure enough, as I'm recording the video, you could probably see my reaction if I drop it in. They posted this and we see Dungeons and Dragons and Dead by Daylight are having a collaboration. This is pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie, and I know a ton of devs absolutely love D&D, and I know this is going to be huge for them, so I'm very happy for them. What makes me sad about all of this is that, once again, it is indeed leaked. You know, it's something that happens so often every single time, where some way, somehow, there is a leak, and then it does ruin a lot of the fun, because in the back of my mind, every time I make theory videos or talk about it, I'm like, yeah, you know what, maybe this is true. And I think this also is part of the reason why Dead by Daylight, in this instance, it kind of forces their hand as well to put things out a little bit earlier than need be. Like, if you take a look at Nicolas Cage, for example, like look at last year's stream, right? When Nicolas Cage got leaked and then they had to rush to surprise. And the whole time, Matthew Cote is like, stay tuned, we got a big surprise. Stay tuned, we had a big surprise. Stay tuned, we have a big surprise. And we all already knew what that big surprise was going to be. It's very disappointing to see that. And then even the year before, when they spoke about Resident Evil, the Wesker chapter, way early, right? And they had a poll and they're like, do you want to see what's coming up? And it kind of forces their hand to talk about what's coming up. It just sucks, is what I'm trying to say. The internal leak sucks. When it's on Dead by Daylight side, and maybe it's in the coding, maybe it's in the files, and you know, those are cosmetics and things we talk about, I think that's a little bit more fair game, because they know that people are going to data mine it 100%. But when it's something that's worked behind closed doors and that eventually seeps out somehow, some way, it really does suck for everybody. There's not much hype that goes into it. The developers that work so hard don't get that big grand surprise to show it off to everybody, and then people built these expectations in their head when they think about these things, and then it may not meet your expectations. You know what I mean? You might see this at first glance and be like, holy shit, we're getting Dungeons and Dragons, this is absolutely amazing. Or you might already have thought, hey, Vecna's coming into the game, it's not Stranger Things Vecna, I don't even care about this. Versus if it just came out and you're like, oh, Vecna's coming in the game with D&D, that's actually quite interesting, I wonder how it's gonna go. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's just how I personally feel about everything. Nonetheless, I don't want to take away any of the spoils from this. Dungeons & Dragons is huge. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. This obviously doesn't look like Vecna here. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anything about D&D. I always wanted to get into it, but sadly, growing up, I had no friends. I still have no friends. I don't have anyone to play D&D with. But I would love to learn more. I would love to play. So with that being said, we're more than likely to get Vecna as this new killer coming into the game. And I'm sure there's going to be tons of Survivor stuff to go along with this. We're probably going to see a bunch of, you know, cosmetics coming in, maybe cosplays, whatever the case may be. It'd be so cool if we get charms that have little die on them, like the 25-sided dies. This is great. And I know especially people that play stuff like Baldur's Gate, things like that, they would absolutely love and eat this chapter up so much. So it's pretty exciting to see nonetheless. D&D coming into DBT, didn't expect it. It says learn more on May 14th. Obviously, May 14th is when we're going to be getting that live stream talking about everything. So they're going to probably announce all the chapter and a look ahead at what's going on. Maybe even a modifier coming out, maybe a tome, whatever the case may be. With that being said, I think it's safe to say we are going to get Vecna as a killer. So I'm going to make a video in the future talking about what potentially the power could be, what the perks could be. And this is exciting. This is exciting. I'm really, really hyped up and amped up for this. But yeah. What can I say? D&D coming into Dead by Daylight. This is 100% going to be the next chapter, and I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see all of the reveals and all of the spoils on May the 14th. I will be live streaming it, so if you guys want to take part in that, make sure you guys are coming on over. Twitch.tv/theking will be there. We'll be reacting to everything, and if you don't have an opportunity to make it, I will summarize everything for you guys, put it in a video just like this one, and send it your way, so you'll know everything that's been going on. But yeah, have one last look at this beautiful trailer, and here we are, D&D and Dead by Daylight. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.